Inside the always lively XL Energy Center, Minnesota looks for a little punch back against San Jose, a team that's beaten them up in recent years. It's the NHL on versus Jumbo Joe Thornton and the San Jose Sharks in town, facing Cal Clutterbuck and the Minnesota Wild. All the sights and sounds of tonight's action available to you in crystal clear high definition. On-ice officials, the referees are Don Van Massenhoven and Brian Pachmara. David Brisebois and Brian Pansich have the lines. Minnesota in its alternate jerseys, rocking the green tonight as you see the line combinations for these two squads at the top of your screen. Defensive-minded John Madden floats one back to center. Nystrom on the run, bumped there by Boyle, and Thornton will swing to fetch. The San Jose squad to a mark of 5-3-1. Minnesota at 4-4-2. Wild have been along a lengthy homestand for themselves. San Jose starting a two-game roadie. Marleau with a wrister right to the glove of Backstrom, and he'll squeeze. At the other end of the rink, Billy, Antero Niedermaki's been very good for San Jose.
Yeah, he's been better right now early on than his Finnish countryman, Antti Niemi, so he's earned another appearance. Head coach Todd McClellan thinks that he doesn't think he'll just go one for one, one game with one guy, one game with the other as the season progresses. He wants somebody to take command of it. But he said right now, Niedermaki, he's done well, he's seen the puck well, he's handles his rebounds, and he's played confidently early on.
There is plenty of Finnish flavor on the ice tonight, both ways. Mikko Koivu, the captain for the Wild, digging in on the draw there. Long wrister for Marc-Edouard Vlasic, deflects to the corner. There's Ryan Clough for Pavelski. Trying to swivel away from the defensive pressure. Zanin makes the strip. He'll reverse to Marek Shidlitsky. And the Wild will work through center with Andrew Burnett. It bounced over his blade. Zanin retreats. Torrey Mitchell right there on the forecheck. Mitchell skating with that customary speed. He looks so much better. It's an injury-plagued young career for Torrey Mitchell. Valin sends it on around. Falk steps in from the point position. Brunette hiding below the goal line where he does some of his best work. Valin muscles up on Mikko Koivu. Koivu on the interchange. Cam Barker's into the lineup for Minnesota, back after a groin muscle injury cost him 4 games on the shelf. Vlasic connecting with Pavelski through center. Both teams in the middle of a personnel change.
That last play by Marty Havlik through the neutral zone is something that the Wild are going to need even more of in this game. The back pressure, being able to allow their defensemen to cover the inside, not allowing the Sharks to drive to the net using their big size and speed, helping out by coming back hard.
Nick Schultz for Minnesota deals it for Havlat. Havlat for Clutterbuck, a tap passing play with Cullen. That one winds up off of his boot, and Kent Huskins will relieve the pressure for San Jose. Thornton, Marleau, and Heatley out there in white for the visiting Sharks. This line in the last 2 outings has been sensational. Huge point totals. Marleau with all the speed in the world chips it to the wing, where the Wild will regroup.
2 shifts ready for the Thornton line, Joe, and both times Todd Richards, Minnesota head coach, makes sure to have out Burns and Schultz.
Billy, we're talking about keys to the game tonight. Our craftsmen, tools for success both ways.
Well, real easy. The first one, who's more powerful? You've got the #1 power play at home in the Wild against the #1 power play on the road in the Sharks. Which one's more powerful? We'll see. Speed from the back end. Dan Boyle, he needs to help lead the rush for guys like Joe Thornton. They're no good, these big, powerful San Jose Shark forwards, if they can't get the puck on their stick. And the last one was about matchups. Todd Richards has to make sure he's got the right D pair out against the big 3.
Point position, Barker with a long wrister knocked down in front. Rebound claimed there. Stubbits, the former Shark, throws it to the glove of Niedermaki, and he'll hold.
And speaking of Todd Richards, just to go back to the point about Burns and Schultz, a defensive pair that he has that have played really well the last few games, in particular Brent Burns, who's excellent a few games ago against Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. He's been real good with his skating and with his positioning, his stick work. He's a healthy guy this year, and so Brent Burns is playing like a man among men, and that's the words of his teammates. He has been awesome early on in this season.
Mikko Koivu moves right to the goal off the draw. Marc-Edouard Vlasic was waiting for him. Niedermaki makes the stick save. Niedermaki should know Koivu very, very well. Those two work out in the offseason back home in Finland. Valin in a 4-man struggle. Logan Couture there to lend support for the Sharks. Andrew Burnett chips it along the boards. fault from long range, wide of a screen, Niittymaki. Kovacic adding that speed ingredient for Minnesota. He's out there. He's been bothered by a groin muscle injury himself. Long slapper, no worries for Niittymaki. Falk sitting on the way, and then you see those two combine in the corner. Koivu collected by Vlasic. Shifting gears for Brunette. He's banned on the centering pass. Pivots beautifully. One touch there, block, as Kovacic was set up well.
One of the more underrated players in the league at protecting the puck and doing something with it from behind the goal line is Andrew Brunette. He is positionally sound on the puck. His best asset, I say it every time I see him do something, and this is from Andrew Brunette. My best asset is my backside because I can use it to create space out there.
Thank you for avoiding the funny play on word. I thought you were going there with the asset. At center, it's Boyle to turn, and Todd Richards, the coach of Minnesota, he'd know about players who work below the goal line. He's formerly in San Jose, knows all about Joe Thornton. He says Thornton's the best and Brunette's not far behind. Nickel carving in for San Jose. Off the board for Jamal Mayers. They work this cycle. McCarthy, the youngster on the interchange for Nickel. Veteran agitator. Douglas Murray with a wrister that was deflected way wide. McCarthy along the boards. Watches this one chip back to center. And San Jose revolves right back into the attack. It's Murray leading the thrust, lowering the shoulder, and taking the net from its moorings. And we have the game's first penalty here.
Yeah, are they calling Murray? They might be calling Murray for goaltender interference because he initiated with the drive, with the shoulder. Watch this as Douglas Murray's going to drive down the right side. And this is an element to his game.
San Jose, minor penalty, goaltender interference.
Yeah, this at initial sight, initial blush, I thought this was actually a good call. Let's see if Murray, he's rid of the puck. See, the puck is off his stick. Well, perhaps not. The Jack Daniels goal cam might show. That shows that that's a tough call to me right there. As he's driving to the net, and it didn't look like he was intentionally trying to barrel over Nicholas Backstrom, but Don Van Massenhoven, one of our two orange-banded officials in this game, deemed that he wasn't, so he calls the goalie interference.
Billy, we have the two best power plays in the business working on ice tonight, although Minnesota, skating 5-on-4 right now, their power play has cooled recently, just one for the last 16 over 4 games.
Key to the Minnesota power play has been pretty much the effectiveness of the guy who just had the puck, number 7, Matt Cullen. He's been a real good boon for them, signing him in the offseason with a 3-year deal.
Down the wing comes Cullen. Second-rated Minnesota power play unit you just saw. They're better than 30%. They've been splendid at home, and they're especially good in the first period. Backstrom waits. Shidlitsky will swing. Veteran quarterback on the blue line with the entry for Cullen. Cullen's another guy with good speed. Gets in the offensive zone. Mitchell racing to this loose rebound, and he'll shovel it all the way. Quickly, we move to the 5.5-minute mark of a scoreless first period. Shots on goal are even at 2 apiece. Minnesota power play. Just over a minute with which to work. Andrew Brunette on top for Brent Burns. Didn't shimmy down the wall. Good takeaway by John McCarthy. Working back with Nickel, and he'll brush it back into the wild zone. San Jose changing penalty killers swiftly. Burns on the hop through center. Barker drops it back for Burns. He gets the middle. Lost control there, and Pavelski was nearly away to the races.
Got lucky.
Offside against San Jose. And this is a Minnesota team, Billy. You know, when we share the numbers, they rely heavily upon the power play.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going to show you right here, 50% of their goals scored have come on the power play. What we're also not telling you or not showing you is that they have only scored 12 goals at 5-on-5, at even strength 5-on-5, which is 30th in a 30-team league. So, you know, Todd Richards' club, and he knows this. He knows that our team has to manage the puck better. He told me this morning. He says we need to get in more aggressively. We need to make sure not to spend time in our zone. All those things that seem obvious. But some teams can handle playing time in their own zone better than others, Joe. They don't panic as much. His team, on the other hand, they seem to give up the puck a lot at inopportune times in their own zone. They don't respond well.
Shidlitsky forced by Thornton. 25 ticks left in the power play for Minnesota. First of the game. Mikko Koivu gets the line. He's poke check. Pavlak zooming in with Koivu. Backside, just jammed wide. Shidlitsky with an outstanding opportunity. The passing combinations were good there. Nick Schultz into the corner. Gloved down and played away. Boyle doing the honors. And then Thornton will send them all the way back into the Minnesota zone. Back to full and even strength. It was a shotless power play for Minnesota. Shidlitsky, that last chance, missed the target. 3 other games going on around the NHL. Back at Hockey Central, Bill Patrick, Keith Jones, Brian Engblom, and Dave Maloney will be keeping us up to date, keeping tabs on the other action going on. Ottawa and Toronto, Montreal, Columbus, and later on Vancouver with Edmonton. Falk bangs it ahead. Huskins staying strong at the line. Devin Setaguchi, they'd love that youngster to find his offensive game. Just 1 goal this fall. Ice level look at Burns, waiting for the forecheck to approach. Schultz, all-time games played leader for Minnesota. On the rush, intended for Clutterbuck. A player who loves to stir it up. A pair of 22s there. Boyle hovered over top. Havlat, who has not scored this season, punched it free to Cullen. Rister on the way. That's routine for Niittymaki, although he left a big rebound. Dan Boyle earlier in the day saying that the Sharks have acclimated well to their 2 Finnish netminders after longtime starter Evgeny Nabokov went back to Russia.
Yeah, and one of the things that Nabokov did better than both of these goalies right now for the Sharks is handle the puck a little bit better, as icing is called here. And Antero Niittymaki actually handles it okay, better than Antti Niemi, but they still are learning where they want to place the puck better for their D on the breakout. There's a good look at the Stanley Cup winning goaltender Antti Niemi, who, didn't have much time to rest in the offseason, had to figure out where he was going to play, and then he comes in with a new system, a new style. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be a good number 1. I don't think he's a bona fide big-time number 1, though, Joe.
Jason Demers, Billy below the goal line, venturing in from his blue line position. It's a San Jose team that's pretty deep in goal throughout the organization. Flo sends it on the way, and that's jabbed aside by Nicklas Backstrom. The number 1 in Minnesota, Jose Theodore backing him up. Stop attempt! And Backstrom with 2 fine saves to deny Torrey Mitchell. We played 8 minutes and 29 seconds in St. Paul, Minnesota. Backstrom, once more the brick wall early on in net for the Wild.
Capital One Hockey Night on Versus rolls on in Minnesota. Good look at Nick Backstrom. Had some good moments just before the break in spite of a 2-7-3 lifetime record against these San Jose Sharks. So pick the brains of his playing partner, Jose Theodore, backing him up tonight, new to Minnesota. In terms of dealing with the Joe Thornton line, you think of Thornton as the ultimate thread-the-needle guy, a great passer. Theodore said the biggest mistake you can make, fellas, forget what a stuff job threat he is. He's great along the goal line, loves to shoot, catch goaltenders off balance. Backstrom countered with, yeah, the last thing I can do is overthink with how I've been against these guys, and don't look for him to try to read too much. Just respond to the traffic in front of him tonight.
Dovetails nicely with what Dave Maloney was saying during the Amway pregame show, Bob, as Huskins fires this one. It's deflected. That big line so good below the hash marks. Backstrom is pinned to the post there. He'll make the stop and the cover.
Nicklas Backstrom, besides having to worry about Joe Thornton and his ability to handle the puck, he also has length, too. He's got that long reach, and that goes to what Bob Harwood was talking about. But Backstrom, he's healthy now. Last year, he was battling, coming off of some injury. He was playing a new system, a new style. He was seeing some shots from some other places that perhaps second and third opportunities he wasn't used to. Here, he feels like he's getting better line of sight on shots, and he's really, he's a workout fanatic. He's really been able to put himself into back to the kind of shape, both physically and mentally, where he needs to be one of the elite goalies in the NHL.
He's Gumby, right? He loves to stretch. Flexibility.
Yeah.
Very similar to Calgary's Mika Kiprasov's routine. Devin Setaguchi's parked along the boards, goes wing to wing for Boyle. Boyle loves to jump up into the rush. Falk hammers him. Justin Falk, 22-year-old Manitoba native, exits the zone for the Wild. A lead for Nystrom that gets away as we continue 5-on-5, approaching the midway mark of the opening period. No score in St. Paul, with the Sharks doubling up the Wild in shots. And that's no surprise. Minnesota's been outshot in each of its last 8 games. Down the wing comes Marleau. Hooks one behind Joe Thornton. Casey Wellman pouncing on it for Minnesota. Youngster up on recall from the American Hockey League Houston Aeros. Huskins on the rewind for Thornton. It bounced away from Heatley. Koivu at the line. Kovacic in ahead of the play. It's offside against Minnesota. No score. Back to XL Energy Center in a moment.
Capital One Hockey Night on Versus continues. Todd Richards of the Wild, you've been outshot 6-3. It's a 2-1 margin. Do you still feel like you've controlled important stretches so far?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't judge everything by the shot clock. I think we've done the things we wanted to do. We've wanted to get pucks into their zone and force them to have to defend. So we've accomplished what we've started out to do.
Todd, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Joe, back to you.
Bob, Todd has a healthy respect for this San Jose squad. Says they're big, they can skate, they know how to win, they're well coached. And that's why annually you see them at that 50-win mark or more. Yeah,
they've got a lot of elements that make up a very good organization year in and year out. And I do agree with them for the most part. It hasn't been what you would term a real exhilarating first period here, and part of that's got to be given credit to the Wild. They don't want to get in the running gun. They want to chip it through the neutral zone, get after it, and force the Sharks to have to get the puck in their own zone and make them break it up, make them try and generate speed with their first pass.
Pavelski carving out of the corner a wrister that did not get through to Backstrom. Havlat will scoop it to center. On the run, it's Cal Clutterbuck, met there by two Shark defenders. Douglas Murray just drilled Clutterbuck. Those two love to throw their weight around.
I think Clutterbuck was the one who's initiating.
Pavelski fires this one that was softened up by Zanin. San Jose, after a real Donnybrook, real good dust-up with Anaheim over the weekend. 6 fights in that game. Could be in a feisty mood as they begin this mini road swing. Marc-Edouard Vlasic controls. Sends in as the Sharks will change up on the fly. Burns has plenty of time to operate. Brent Burns, 25-year-old Ontario native. The long lead down the wing, gobbled up by Valine, who's healthy now and showing San Jose what he can do on the back end. Teamed up with Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Valine off the boards and out. Looped over the head of McCarthy by Jamal Mayers, and Burns collects. Smooth skating Nick Schultz there. Mayers right in his grill. Nickel towards the goal, just ushered aside by Backstrom. Wellman on the hop, throws it over the head of Douglas Murray, and San Jose will retreat. Quick send in for Mayers. Flexed it on for Douglas Murray, throws the stiff arm out there. Good defense by Cam Barker, the former Chicago Blackhawk property.
Yeah, pretty good gap control in this game early on, Joe, by the Wild defensemen too. And that goes hand in hand with the support that their forwards have shown here in this first period, especially through the neutral zone.
7:50 left in this one. 3 games going on before the night is through. 4 total as Couture drills one off the blocker of Backstrom. Falk has the rebound. Fanned on his clearing attempt. McGinn for San Jose. One hand on the blade. Back to point position, Huskins. Demers. No shooting lane. Setaguchi pinned to the boards and knocked down by Falk. Bouncing right back up. Devin Setaguchi had the puck trapped beneath his skate blade. That's tricky. You see the youngster Couture dealing with Mikko Koivu. Even strength they continue. Ooh, Setaguchi knocked down. And a power play coming up now for San Jose. As it's whistled, we get you back to Hockey Central to visit with Bill Patrick.
All right, Joe, thank you. This game break from Toronto, the Senators and Maple Leafs doing battle. And here in the second period, Leafs captain Dion Phaneuf collides with Peter Regan. Phaneuf had to be helped off the ice. We'll, of course, give you all the details as they become apparent to us. Joe?
Scary situation there, Bill. The Sens have lost 5 straight to the Maple Leafs.
And Justin Falk's going to serve the first penalty of the game for Minnesota as he got tangled up with Setaguchi behind the net and seemed a bit of an inadvertent interference called there, but still worthy of a call. And now we see one of the best power plays in the NHL, number 2 overall, go on the ice. Or beg your pardon, number 1 overall, take the ice here at the XL Energy Center.
Billy, they were 2 for 6 against Anaheim over the weekend. A win of the draw. Boyle with a quick trigger. And it's off the outside of the post. Backstrom got a little chunk with a glove. Pavelski fires. That's deflected away by Zanin. We drift below 7 minutes to go in the opening period. Eric Shidlitsky did not get it out. Thornton drops it into the high slot. Good defense there by Madden. That sounds redundant as well as he does in the defensive zone. You see the special teams numbers for these 2 units. Minnesota in the top 10 on the PK, just the same in this first month.
Keep an eye on San Jose having 4 guys, 4 forwards really down low, but below the top of the circles at times. Really fun to watch on their power play, how quick and how active.
Heatley, backside look, just slugged wide. Pretty passing play, and Pavelski had an open net yawning.
You know, sometimes, Joe, a team will put 4 forwards and a D-man out there, but one guy will act as a second defenseman out there. They've got 4 forwards out there, and they act like 4 forwards. They leave Boyle all by himself a lot.
Thornton on a give and go. Marlowe pulls the trigger. That's blocked by Schultz. Boyle gets there in time to keep it in. He says this power play is good when it's unpredictable. They're interchangeable at times.
Well, yeah, and I think that goes hand in hand with what I was just referring to. Sometimes you'll see Pavelski back at the point. Other times it'll be Marlowe who's filling in, or Danny Heatley. Thornton usually seems to find himself from the goal line below it as well. That seems to be his spot, though.
30 seconds left in the man advantage for San Jose and the traveling white. Clough gets the line. Couture parked in front. Setaguchi's drive deflected wide. Vlasic on the perimeter. Straight away, Demers drops the hammer. That was blocked. Vlasic flushed out to the boards. Throws it into the corner. Zhidlitsky pounds it along the dasher. Nystrom and Demers combine there, and then Zanin will scoop it on out.
And they're going to need more offense from the guy who's got the puck right now. If he's going to be on the power play, Vlasic that is, he has no points on the season.
So the 2 highest rated power play units have both failed on their initial opportunities tonight. San Jose with 1 shot, and for the game out shooting Minnesota 9-3 to this point. As we return to 5-on-5. Burns turns away from the forecheck there of McGinn. Havlat connecting with Schultz. This one sprinkled wide of Niedermaki. Douglas Murray there for the touch-up. It's icing against Minnesota. And just a few moments ago, Pavelski had one he normally buries.
No, there's going to be the quick puck movement we were referring to. Look at a quick fake shot by Danny Heatley over to Joe Pavelski. But what it is, it's play along the wall that pushes the puck to the middle of the ice, and it forces the defense, the penalty killers, to have to rotate quickly, have to open up and get out of their comfort zone, their areas where they want to defend quickly. And Joe Pavelski, coming in from that off wing, made himself available, just pushed the puck wide.
Congrats to Joe and wife Sarah. Baby boy Nathan, born just about a week ago.
9.3 pounds.
Big baby. This one floats back to center. Marlowe for Douglas Murray, who booms one in. Rugged customer on the San Jose back line. Joe Thornton from the angle, stopped by Backstrom. Rebound looks to stuff. He had Marlowe posted up in front. Joe Thornton for San Jose. Wheeling back behind the net. To Boyle, just wide. Heatley tracks down the rebound. Stick check by Matt Cullen.
Good opportunity for that big line because they're out there against Casey Wellman and Martin Havlat and Matt Cullen. The second line for the Wild. Wellman, a youngster, probably in over his head against those guys. Now, the D pair that the Wild wanted were out there. The Burns pairing along with Schultz. But the forwards, they were a little dicey.
Vlasic into a shooting channel. Loose in front there. Clough! Good poke check by Backstrom. Valine giving ground for San Jose. Andrew Burnett chasing after him. Kovacic keeping an eye on Ryan Clough. Off the boards and back into the Minnesota zone with 3:20 separating us from a Pizza Hut intermission report.
Now Bob Harwood is going to do another interview with Todd Richards after now. It might be a little different response.
Centering pass just off the outside of the pipe. It was Kovacic knifing to the net. Mikko Koivu delivers. Goal line extended. No worries there for Niedermaki. Brunette taps it back for his captain Koivu. Overlapping with Falk. Mikko Koivu flings one to the front. Falk sends it on the way and just wide. Niedermaki was deep in the paint. Pavelski lifts it to center. Potential high stick washed out. Then a delayed offside against San Jose. Gives Zanin time to clear.
Some nice nimbleness now there from Falk in the offensive zone. The young defenseman who just got himself moved out of the hotel into a more permanent type of place to live within the offensive zone with good play for a 6'5", 220-pound guy.
Very much so. Radziak hovering there in the high slot for Minnesota. He'll have to backtrack now as the Sharks put together their breakout. Jamal Mayers in a tight spot there with McCarthy to send in. Backstrom cut that off neatly. Sends it on around. Mayers was waiting. 2:10 left to go in the opening period. No score in St. Paul. Along the boards, Colton Gillies to swivel away. relieves some pressure for Zanin. Brodziak blisters one in from center. It's hard around to nobody in particular. The Wild were in the middle of a line change. Jason Demers plays it on back for Huskins. Madden shadowing him. Demers deliberately ahead. Finds Big Joe. Joe Thornton's pass gets away from Marlowe. Could be an icing here as it's touched up for the whistle. Folks, next up, Versus brings you an all-new sports talk show featuring two of the most talkative and talked about NFL stars, Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens. It's the T. Ocho Show. You think you've seen it all? You ain't seen nothing yet. Next, only on Versus.
That unforced error by Joe Thornton, missing the breakout pass, thereby causing the icing, allows for Todd Richards to get out a more preferable matchup. He had Barker and Falk on the ice, the defensive pair against the Thornton line. Now he can put Burns and Schultz out there as the faceoff comes back into the offensive zone. Just
over 90 seconds left in this first period, Billy. During the Pizza Hut intermission report, Bill, Keith, Brian, and Dave talking about Flyer center Danny Briere in hot water for a cross-check. They'll share highlights from the games that are going on right now, and also the NHL Players of the Week. No score at XL Energy Center. Douglas Murray lives by the creed, crush, kill, destroy on Versus.
Bill Patrick ahead on the Pizza Hut intermission report. Up with Keith Jones, Brian Engblom, and Dave Maloney. All right, Joe.
Bill will look forward to that. Toronto, just 7 goals in its last 6 games overall, in which they have just a single win to their credit. And a scary moment earlier tonight involving Dion Phaneuf, their captain. Be sure to check that out between periods 1 and 2. Cullen wins the draw back for Zhitlitsky. 0-0 here in St. Paul. First of 4 between Western rivals. Zhitlitsky activating from the point. Rattled there by Pavelski. A feed for Kovacic. And there's a penalty call. Trail official Van Massenhoven has spotted a hold.
I believe it's going against Joe Pavelski. And along the wall, he reached out and grabbed the Wild player. And that is the call mate. And this starts with a face-off win. Both these teams do very well face-off-wise. Matt Cullen won the draw to start that last play. These teams, San Jose 2nd in the league, Minnesota 8th in the league, have 3 centermen that are all above 50%. Todd McClellan giving it to the official. Not liking it at all, what he just saw out there.
Making sure he spoke his piece. Todd McClellan, who turned 43 last month. 3rd full year as the head coach in San Jose.
Is he well liked by the players too? They really have a ton of respect for what he's about, what he listens to, how he interacts with the players too. Every player I've ever talked to that's played for him says he's a great coach.
Late first period power play for the Minnesota Wild, trying to break out on top. A lock jam in the corner. Cullen jimmies it loose. Danny Heatley gets there for San Jose, and Heatley's got running room. Heatley closing in, delayed penalty call coming up against Minnesota. Bye-bye power play. Niittymaki gets to the bench for the extra tacker, so it's 5-on-5 for the moment. Joe Thornton fires one off of Backstrom and out of play.
Pressure up high by the San Jose Sharks on the Minnesota Wild. Leads to this opportunity and to the delayed penalty that was called on Mikko Koivu, the captain.
Minnesota, number 9, 2 minutes for tripping.
Danny Heatley out there getting opportunity, killing the penalty, pushing the play, and Mikko Koivu having to do whatever it takes to try and eliminate the opportunity right there. But there's just good hard work, or was hard work, from the San Jose Sharks, killing it.
So, Billy, we'll conclude this opening period 4-on-4. Marlowe won't mind the open ice. That was a tough pass for Dan Boyle to catch. Back through center, Marlowe over skates. He was jammed too. Brodziak on the delay. Brodziak fires one wide. Niittymaki has only faced 3 shots in this first period. Marlowe dealing with Barker to the corner. Clough is in there first. Marlowe to the goal mouth. Boyle was on the wrong side of that one. Douglas Murray cruising in from point position. 6 seconds left in the period. Down to 4. Madden protecting it. Sends it away, and we are done with 1/3 of regulation at XL Energy Center. Coming up after the break, it's the Pizza Hut intermission report. We'll get you back to Hockey Central in a few moments. Checking in with Bill Patrick, Keith Jones, Brian Engblom, and Dave Maloney in a moment. Plenty of good fun. It's Capital One Hockey Night on Versus. Sharks and Wild, 20 minutes down. Nothing on the scoreboard. Joe Beninati, Billy Jaffe with you. And Billy, not a lot to talk about offensively, but for Minnesota, the second half of that first period, where was the disconnect?
Well, it was definitely not in the offensive zone for the Wild. You know, Todd Richards talked to Bob Harwood halfway through the period, and he was happy with what he had seen. I think if you asked him again the second 10 minutes, he'd say, like, well, you know what, we got away from chip and chase, and we really had to play a lot of it in our own zone. They only had 3 shots on goal in that period, and of those 3, you ready for this, Joe? 1 was from a forward, Matt Cullen. The 2 shots by D-men from Justin Falk and Cam Barker. Not exactly the offensive go-to guys in the blue line that you were expecting to get shots from.
You said 1 shot from a forward.
Yep.
Oh, something's got to change here at XL Energy Center for the Minnesota Wild, who are at home and in their alternate green jerseys tonight. Cullen breezing through the neutral territory. Valin meets him on the blue line for San Jose. Marc-Edouard Vlasic strides through center. Quick developing 3-on-2. Rink wide, that's too hot to handle for Setaguchi. Havlat on a takeaway. The Wild have to get number 24 Green going offensively, somehow, some way, as this one leaves the ring. Progressive Insurance second period storyline, Billy, what do you see?
Well, and turned into Mackey. He only had to face 3 shots, but he was focused for those 3. Nick Backstrom has been real good in his last 5 starts. Continues to be the bedrock for this team. Joe Thornton won all 5 of his face-offs. Had a few opportunities from right around the net of Nicholas Backstrom, but none were able to get by him.
This is a San Jose team that's throttled Minnesota pretty well over recent years. With respect to Backstrom, he's won just 2 of 12 decisions all time against them. Madden trying to give him a lead, bombs one right to Niedermacky. To the corner, Pavelski and Clutterbuck. Pavelski knocks the rambunctious winger down. Cal wants to throw his weight around, but he was talking with Bob Harwood earlier in the day about making the right hit at the right time. Marleau picking up the pace through center. 3 seconds now, 2 left in the minor to Mikko Koivu, and we're back to a 5-on-5 full strength. Douglas Murray behind Danny Heatley. Backstrom will help his own cause. Falk is waiting for it. Brodziak chips it to center. Wellman has good speed. Demers closed the ground quickly on him. A nice level look at Douglas Murray, flinging it down the dasher off of Ryan Clough. So many of these San Jose Sharks were thrilled to see the San Francisco Giants win it all in the World Series. Clough actually bought postseason tickets. They've been there in force in the Bay Area. Thought it was great to listen to Coach McClellan earlier today. You could just see how much it meant to his gang, and he said anytime you see a team win it all, Billy, you get those shivers. Yeah,
he says you get to watch a team celebrate, and it's so much fun, and then afterwards you get to hear about the story about how the team came together, what it was really like, what it was all about. He says nobody turns that TV off at that time, and we're going to have a penalty here just over 2 minutes into this period.
Billy, let's check in with Bob Harwood for a second.
Well, Joe, you teed this up. Cal Clutterbuck loves to agitate. He loves to be a physical, in-your-face player. He said there's a right and wrong way to do that. If I take myself out of the defensive responsibilities that come after the check is almost meaningless. Ironically, we've seen him on his backside 3 or 4 times already, sometimes of his own doing, as he tried to initiate something with the wall known as Murray in the first period. But look for him to try to throw some of San Jose's puck-moving guys off their game just by being a presence, not necessarily overwhelming.
Bob, we're about to watch San Jose work on its 3rd power play opportunity of the evening, trying to break out on top here. Marleau on the overload. Pavelski switching. Boyle fires, and Backstrom will squeeze that one nice and softly.
Now, you see a set play here as you can see Joe Pavelski coming to the puck. And while he's coming to the puck, there's that switch. You mentioned that term switch. As Boyle goes from the left side more to the middle of the ice, opening himself, making himself available for what you again call an unpredictable type of play. There's so much movement out there for this San Jose Shark unit.
Which means Minnesota had better communicate defensively to keep things covered.
Communicate, understand where they need to be, and also don't chase so much. Sometimes it's almost better, instead of being aggressive, stay in your spot a little bit more. Let the play come to you.
Pavelski whiffs on a long-range slapper. Joe Thornton finds Pat Marleau. Patrick Marleau for Boyle. Boyle has some room. He fires a stick save for Backstrom. Boyle returns it to Pavelski. Boyle playing the two-man game. Down the dasher for Joe Thornton. To the front, swing and a miss by Heatley. Pavelski waits for this one to stop bouncing, and then he rammed it wide. Marlowe twisting it along the boards. Minnesota claims. 70 seconds left in the shorthanded situation, and Burns guns it all the way down.
One of the best defensemen at just kind of sliding his way, or like slinky-like through the offensive zone, is Dan Boyle. On that last offensive zone time, he showed that with that one play when he was able to beat Matt Cullen.
Excellent know-how. Along the boards, he drops it for Klo. Switch the point of attack. Pavelski fanned again. That stick betrays him. Madden has a shorthanded break. Good recovery by Klo. Nearing the 4-minute mark, and still scoreless are we from XL Energy Center. San Jose out shooting Minnesota 13-4 as we just get going in period 2. Sharks swept all 4 from the Wild last year. Logan Couture on the fly. Fancy stick handling, stop, rebound, pad save, Backstrom. And he's got this one in the crease.
Logan Couture with a juicy opportunity going right up the gut. Watch right here. He's going to dance through both defenders. Clutterbuck, a forward back in that spot right there, isn't able to make the play. It's a forward back there deep, and Couture just goes right to the front, but there's Nick Backstrom. You called him Gumby-like before. He has that ability to spike himself basically into the post, splits-wise, even though he's a little bit forward there, and keep the pads up, Joe. Not flat on this, but he gets them nice and up and makes a beautiful second save.
Body control against the American Hockey League all-rookie team member Logan Couture, 21 years of age, trying to help fill the void of Manny Malhotra, who's moved along to Vancouver in the offseason. This is Couture breezing back with Klo. Power play time dwindling for San Jose. Hoskins sends it for Demers. Slap pass is beautiful. Stick save. Backstrom robbed Setaguchi. Back to even in full strength. Couture flexes one to the front. It's punched aside, and the Wild will build momentum through center. Zanin on the dump in. Todd Richards wants to get some fresh troops out there. Torrey Mitchell with plenty of get up and go, and he was stick checked. Havlat serves it for Brunette. Back for Martin Havlat, intercepted by Demers. It trickles to the doorstep and played away from harm by Ryan Klo. Klo using the boards, trying to go indirect for Mitchell. Falk sniffed that out. Cullen feeds Zhidlitsky down the wall. Cullen lost the handle there. Klo teaming up with Mitchell, who is freight trained by Falk. A huge open ice hit, and the gloves come off. It's Falk and Klo.
And Falk stepped on a stick. He responded to the challenge immediately from Ryan Klo, and he ends up stepping on a stick, thereby losing his balance.
No score here in St. Paul. Back to Hockey Central. Here's Bill.
Okay, Joe, another game break. Canadiens and Blue Jackets. A beautiful 2-on-1 here. Jared Bull to the rookie Kyle Wilson, who beats the sprawling Carey Price. 3-0 Jackets. All right, Joe.
Blue Jackets having fun, Bill, on a night when Rick Nash has ended his 5-game goalless drought. Let's have a look back, Billy.
This is just a good step-up hit as Torrey Mitchell gets into the neutral zone, gets his body turned, and a clean hit from the big defender, Falk, who's more than happy to go right with Ryan Klo. Klo stepping up for his teammates. Unfortunately, stepping on a stick there is Justin Falk. Pretty even match if that one was going to happen size-wise. Earlier, watch the right, not even pad, but the heel of the stick. Save made there by Nicholas Backstrom. Following that redirection, even though it wasn't that hard, it was where the placement of it was. He was able to get to it there and shuffle it into the corner.
That was one whale of a tip-in try by Setaguchi. Slick set of hands there.
And then Setaguchi with only 1 goal on the season. Before this game, he was taken off the second line, put to the Couture line. And Couture has actually been real good, Joe, in this game. In fact, his power play, his unit, even though they've got less power play time overall for Todd McClellan's squad, has generated more chances than the Jumbo Joe line. Going to have, I think, an extra minor against Klo.
Yeah, you're right.
What do we have, double minors and a minor? Have they announced it?
Waiting for the call in-house. We originally thought it would be matching minors for roughing plus the 2 to Klo. Anyway you slice it, Minnesota goes to the man advantage. Just past the 5-minute mark of period 2. Being outshot by a 4-to-1 ratio. San Jose out shooting them 16-4. Sharks win the draw. Douglas Murray didn't get it out. Mikko Koivu's pass to the front, chipped away by Marlowe.
And it is a double minor and a minor, so Klo gets the extra 2 for initiating, getting there first with the gloves off. No punches thrown, though, so no fighting majors.
Jedlicki sends it on around. Andrew Brunette tied up by Dan Boyle. Todd Richards, Brunette's head coach, calls him the specialist for what he does in front of the net and behind it. Right now, it's a pig pile in the corner. A rugby scrum. 6 players fencing in there. Mikko Koivu trying to pitchfork it free. Douglas Murray wouldn't mind a whistle. The officials, there's referee Pakmara close by saying play on. Back out to neutral, 70 seconds left in the man advantage. Douglas Murray hammers it in. San Jose will change its penalty killers. Cullen is a one-man breakout for Minnesota. Good speed through center. Jedlicki gets the line. Jedlicki closes in, fires that one. He dropped Pavelski in one fell swoop. Torrey Mitchell able to play on out. Both of these teams with plenty of power play opportunities in the first half of this hockey game, but neither of them has converted. And that's unusual 1 month into this new season with how productive they've been. Clutterbuck trapped along the boards. Valine doing the honors. McCarthy trying to get it out. Dangerously to the front. Ooh, Mayer is able to play it clear. Then he took one on the chin from Cam Barker.
Now, if Minnesota's going to score a power play goal, you got to look for Cullen, Burns, or Koivu to be one of the guys, one of the main guys to score them. They've scored 8 of the team's 13 power play goals this season.
Barker, good entry. Cradles one towards the front, and then it's played away by Huskins. It's a Minnesota team, Billy, without Antti Miettinen, suffering from a concussion. Guillaume Latendresse is out with a groin muscle injury. Burns stepping in, chips one wide of the goal, then cleans out Niittymaki. There's a penalty call coming.
And they're going to be the same exact call that we saw earlier in the game. It's going to be Burns for goaltender interference. No score in this game, 12:50 remaining, second period. Sharks go on the power play.
It's Capital One Hockey Night on Versus. Sharks and Wild, no score. Brent Burns in the box, Billy, after this infraction.
Second time in this game, we have had a call for goaltender interference. Both times, the offending player has been a defenseman. Brent Burns that time driving in there, just like Douglas Murray did early in the first period, driving in on Nicholas Backstrom. Burns ends up getting a little too close, a little too up close and personal, that is, with Antero Niittymaki.
Playing with fire now. San Jose to the power play. The more opportunities they get, the more likely they are to cash in. 31.8% effective coming into play tonight. Watch out for Danny Heatley. 18 power play goals last year. Marleau zooms into the offensive end with Heatley. To the front. Pavelski's relay's deflected. Nystrom with a good speed gets there first, and he golfs it on out. Nearing the 8-minute mark of the second period and still scoreless. Rodziak will dump it in. 30 seconds through the shorthanded situation. Nice work by Nystrom below the goal line. Ragging time away from the Shark power play. Pavelski's pass blocked by Madden. Picked up on the move. Thornton finds Marleau, rink wide for Heatley. There's Barker. And off the boards and out. Dan Boyle to turn. Annually among San Jose's leaders in terms of defensive points. Demers slugs it in. Squeaks through to Marleau. Centering pass picks up Thornton. Demers, one touch down low, blocked away, but not cleared. Thornton settles. Scoops it. The pass for Demers, who rotates down, gets away from him, and now Clutterbuck the other way, 2-on-2. Cal Clutterbuck closing in, lowers the shoulder, didn't pull the trigger in time. Jedlicki joining the rush. Good back check by Logan Couture.
You can make an argument now that Couture should go out there first.
McGinn, 2-on-1, fires! Pad save, Backstrom. He had Joe Thornton with him down the wing. Marc-Edouard Vlasic backpedals to the middle. Long wrister coming with a screen. Backstrom got a chunk of that. McGinn was camped out in front. Couture, McGinn, and Thornton up top for San Jose. Tail into the power play. Thornton's drive was blocked by Jedlicki. Vlasic connecting with Valine, and Nicholas will be forced to give up the line.
Yeah, I know it's hard not to put Thornton out there first, but Couture's line been more effective.
Burns right out of the box. Blasts this one off of Valine. That one took a bite out of the Swedish-born defender. Clutterbuck from a severe angle, rejected by Vlasic. Shots on goal are 18-4 as you see McGinn throw a crunching hit. This one comes the length of the pond, touched up by Burns for icing against San Jose.
As part of our open, Bob Harwood talked to Joe Thornton, and he brought up this guy's name, Logan Couture, about how he really likes how he's anchoring the third line and what he can do. And he's had a good opportunity in this game. Remember earlier with the big shot. This is a young player, first-round pick from 2007 draft, that has really gotten his consistency better. He has 34 shots coming into this game, making a few more in this game. And, you know, last year, he had 25 games, he had 5 goals. So he was able to kind of establish himself, had a nice little playoff run, and he gives them depth there. They could afford to lose a guy like Malhotra. He's a different type of player. But he's a pretty good shifty, offensive-minded centerman there.
Future's bright for Logan, and definitely for one of his childhood friends. He and Drew Doughty are very close, the star defender for the Los Angeles Kings, who've had an outstanding first month of the NHL season. Clowe off the boot of Torrey Mitchell. Schultz there to send it back to center. Halfway through regulation time now are we with the NHL on Versus. No score inside of XL Energy Center. Douglas Murray clears it on in. Backstrom with words of instruction for Falk. Dustin Falk makes the pass for Havlat. One touch to Burnett. Now Mikko Koivu leads the thrust. Koivu, pitchfork there by Demers. Good job defensively. Nickel charging back through center. No numbers advantage. He'll drive it in. Clowe trying to win a board battle with Zhidlitsky. Ryan Clowe protecting the puck. Pavelski next in line, mauled by Brodziak. Pavelski, rink wide, good feed. Rister sails wide of Backstrom. Sent there by Huskins. Pavelski's pass to the interior deflected. Zhidlitsky brushes it to the outside, and Barker has time to move Minnesota back through neutral. On through Chuck Kobasu, 3 times a 20-goal scorer in the NHL. Niedermacki sends it on around. Demers will reverse it quickly. McCarthy, a Boston, Massachusetts native, banks it off the boards and on through Pavelski. These two teams are fighting for every inch of the ice. Colton Gillies will swing. A delayed penalty call coming up against San Jose. Backstrom to the bench. Colton Gillies towards the front. Collected by Huskins. And Minnesota goes a man up. On the other side of the break, Bob Harwood chats with San Jose's Todd McClellan.
Capital One Hockey Night continues in Minnesota. Here's Todd McClellan of the Sharks. Todd, you're kind of in control of things, but about to kill a 4-minute penalty or try. Is this the critical point so far?
Well, to this point it will be, but there's a lot of hockey left. We feel good about our game. I felt in the last 5 to 7 minutes we're getting a little impatient starting to force stuff, so we got to go back to the game plan and be patient. They're a real good defensive team.
Todd, what is the next step in terms of making chances better and amount to more?
Well, I think we're getting pucks to the net. We got to find a way to get our stick on the second one and the third one. The rebounds are on the net.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, Joe.
Okay, Bobo. Whenever we get caught up with Todd McClellan, he shares a lot of insight with us. Joe Thornton and his bunch right now looking to kill off the double minor for high sticking to John McCarthy. 24-year-old second-year pro. Right off the drop, Cullen fires. Excellent defensive play by Setaguchi. Back to Hockey Central now. Here's Bill Patrick.
All right, Joe, back to the Senators and Maple Leafs. Francois Beauchemin will get credit for this goal. Stop the presses. Yes, they score. Leafs snapped their goal route at 167 minutes and 39 seconds, guys.
Yikes. Bill, they were hoping to avoid being shut out for 3 straight games. The last time that ever happened, 1926, they were known as the Toronto St. Patrick's then. No shutout tonight. Minnesota in the dark green, working here at home. A man up for another 3:40. Cullen relays to Havlat. Keep it moving to Mikko Koivu. Waved at by Valin. Cullen one-timer fires. He slings it wide. Big rebound to the front. Volleyball spike to the corner by Marc-Edouard Vlasic. There's a penalty here. It's against the Sharks. Backstrom's on his way to the bench. Zhidlitsky backdoor for Havlat. He whiffed on the one-timer. 2-man advantage right now for Minnesota with a goalie pulled. Zhidlitsky back. Cullen bombs away. That one's blocked by Mitchell. 6-on-4 with a netminder pulled and a delayed penalty coming against San Jose. Koivu on a look-away pass, blocked by Vlasic. Clutterbuck rammed by Valin. Zhidlitsky settles. Puts some air underneath that for Cullen. Winds and fires. That one nicked Vlasic on the way by. Zhidlitsky still in the delayed penalty, right to the gut of Niittymaki, and he'll hold.
Penalty's going to be a hook on Torrey Mitchell. The puck's into the corner. Driving for it right there is Marty Havlat. And with a little help from Havlat's left arm, he helped bring the stick up there and gets away, perhaps with holding the stick. Let's take you back, though, to the initial double minor. Right there. There's the high stick. Kobasu takes it right under the schnoz from McCarthy. And so that is why there was the initial 4-minute penalty, and now it's a 5-on-3 with 2:50 remaining on the board for the initial double minor. Early on in this power play, Todd McClellan saw Mikko Koivu of the Wild win 2 face-offs in a row. First against Joe Thornton on the right side, and then against Scott Nickel on the left side. So face-offs, hugely important for both teams starting this 5-on-3.
Billy Todd Richards just called for time. He wants to rest his power play group. This is obviously a critical juncture of this hockey game.
Yeah, I mean, they've had 5 shots on net. That was just their 5th shot on goal. It's a huge point in the game. This has been an offensively challenged club in this game, the Minnesota Wild. I mean, you wouldn't call them a high-flying club to begin with. They average 2.6 goals a game. That's good for 21st overall in the NHL. We already talked about their struggles at even strength, so they're playing to their strengths. They're trying to right now, which is power play opportunity here.
This is one area where they would miss Pierre-Marc Bouchard, who's hoping to be back sooner than later, getting closer and closer to active duty after suffering so long with a concussion. Cullen feeds the power play point. Zhidlitsky is there. Cullen sweeps it. Goal line extended. That's Havlat for Cullen. One-timer Zhidlitsky rejected by Pavelski. 5-on-3 for Minnesota. Havlat, beautiful pass off the crossbar. Brunette opened up at the right time. Matt Cullen inching closer. He'll fire one that's deflected away. Pavelski at the top of that triangle defense. Cullen to Mikko Koivu. Havlat with patience. Havlat, backdoor, score! Andrew Brunette.
And on the 7th shot, we have a goal for the Minnesota Wild. Brunette is going to hit the post on his first attempt. Now watch this, though. Coming in is Koivu to that middle slot area. That forces the attention more to the middle, and this time it leaves the other side open. The first time Brunette got the puck, Joe, he had to turn a little, and he lofted it too high, hit off the crossbar. This time, he made sure to keep it down, keep it low, get rid of it a little quicker, too, and Niittymaki could not get over to his blocker side quick enough for Andrew Brunette, his 3rd goal on the year.
And now over 240 for his career. He had assists in 2 straight games for the Wild. There he calls his own number. That was set up splendidly by Martin Havlat. Now the officials conferring with Koivu to settle the bookkeeping matters as far as who comes out of the box for San Jose.
And check the patience out here. You see, if Koivu doesn't come more to the middle, there's not a lane there. He waits and waits, and everybody's now looking at Havlat. Brunette is able to go stealth a little bit more left side. He's able to get away from the defender just enough to get rid of the puck quickly. Those are 2 nice passes on that power play by Marty Havlat. The first one, crossbar result. Second one, goal result.
A month into the season, more than half of Minnesota's goals this year on the power play. Here's Bob Harwood.
Well, Joe, from my vantage point behind the net, you saw the extra second that Brunette had. As Billy said, be patient. He did say he got the shot off quicker. He was decisive, but he needed that second to corral the puck. That wasn't as easy a thread the needle pack. It was tape to tape, but it got played with a little bit between the pass and the shot itself. Brunette had to settle down. Good example of his fine skills.
6 times a 20-goal scorer plus in this league, Bob, with 3 different teams. Minnesota is still on the power play. Working 5-on-3. Matt Cullen with a bomb stop. Rebound. Niittymaki, an excellent save on Brunette. And he's got the puck beneath the pad long enough for the whistle.
And Brunette looks to the rafters above. He couldn't believe that he didn't slide in his 2nd goal in just seconds on this 5-on-3. Cullen is not afraid to shoot. One of his best qualities. And Brunette right there. There's no dust off of the puck. I love that about Andrew Brunette's game. He doesn't hesitate and look to move the puck. He doesn't dust it off. He puts it right back on net. Who cares if it's hard? Who cares if it's fancy or not. He tries to slide it under the goaltender, Niedermaki, but Niedermaki made a nice recovery.
The grittier, the better for Andrew Brunette. He loves to work in tight spaces around the goal. Almost converted another power play strike. His first one came from Havlat and Koivu at 13-19. San Jose controls the draw. Vlasic did not get it out. Shidlitsky has it for Minnesota. Just over 6 minutes to go, second period. Koivu with Brunette and Havlat lurking around the goal. This is Havlat for Koivu. Shidlitsky on a bump set to Cullen. Havlat, no shooting lane for him. Koivu missed on the one-timer, and it's shuffled on out by Valin.
There might have been just enough of a little push there by Patrick Marleau on Koivu to help eliminate that chance.
Shidlitsky marching in. Two-man advantage, another 25 seconds. Shidlitsky on the delay. That one caromed off of Havlat. Marc-Edouard Vlasic, not enough starch on it to clear. Shidlitsky on the back pedal. Waits. Havlat and Shidlitsky in close quarters. Havlat to the front. Brunette misfired there. Shidlitsky winds and drives. Stopped by Niedermaki. There's no rebound.
That's a big drive from Shidlitsky, but there's nobody in front right there. He's got a heavy shot. He's in a good spot, too. But Niedermaki can get square to the shooter because the puck got over quickly to Shidlitsky, and nobody was there to fight. Here's the quick puck movement. Watch it pinball around. It's going to be pushed back, and then nobody in front right there. Pretty easy save for Niedermaki.
Shidlitsky, who scored Saturday against Chicago's Marty Turco. Turco was very good in goal for the Hawks in that one. It is a 1-0 advantage for Minnesota, along with Billy Jaffe and Bob Harwood. I'm Joe Beninati. Glad you've tuned in. It's a Capital One hockey night on Versus here at XL Energy Center in St. Paul. Barker, as the power play persists for Minnesota. Still a man to the good. Another 38 seconds left in the double minor for high sticking to John McCarthy. Game's only goal coming just a few moments ago. Andrew Brunette on the board. Burns waltzing into the zone, tries to find Clutterbuck. Pavelski was hip-to-hip with him. Kobasu at a point position. Stubs that pass. Barker fires that one off of Douglas Murray. Pavelski will reverse his field. Murray there to support on his way down. He didn't get it out. Kobasu. Madden. Wrister blocked by Murray. John Madden retrieves his own rebound. Douglas Murray with a good stick check. Madden trying to feed one blindly to the goal mouth. Clutterbuck to the front there. On through Kobasu. 4.5 left, second period. San Jose out shooting Minnesota 18-9, but trailing where it matters most by 1 as we get back to a level playing field, 5-on-5.
Heavy hit in the neutral zone. Clutterbuck was able to put the shoulder to McCarthy.
He likes to do that.
Yes, he does. One of the tops regularly in the NHL the last few years.
Joe Thornton through center now for Demers. Will skitter one back behind Nicholas Backstrom. Schultz will tap. Zanin moves, and Brodziak flings it back onto the San Jose side. Danny Heatley in charge for the Sharks. Heatley and Thornton and Marleau, who've been so good together in recent outings, two of them to be specific. Setaguchi's on ice now with those talented top scorers. Logan Couture chasing after Schultz. Couture wins it to the front for McGinn. He jammed it wide. Good hustle by 39 White. This is Klo working along the dasher. Point position. Valin through a screen and wide of Backstrom. Kyle Brodziak for the Wild. Game 4 of a 5-game homestand for them. Valin bangs it off the boards. We get a whistle here and a stoppage in play. 3:20 to go in the middle frame, and it's Minnesota on top by 1. The man who put him to the lead, Andrew Brunette, on the doorstep.
I'm Bill Patrick. Coming up on the Verizon Intermission Report, the Buffalo Sabres continue to struggle, and this weekend their captain was a healthy scratch. So where do they go from here, and is there time to turn things around? Keith, Brian, and Dave will join me to discuss that and so much more. Okay, Joe.
Okay, Bill. You know, that's an interesting story developing out in Western New York. And remember, Lindy Ruff, who's the present-day coach of the Buffalo Sabres, used to be the captain back in the late 80s, and he was benched by Ted Sater. So he must have a method to his madness with respect to Craig Rivet, who's coming back into the lineup after off-season shoulder surgery.
Yeah, well, one of the things Lindy Ruff told me just last week when I did the game in Philadelphia, Buffalo at Philly was the fact that he'd be able to get his message through still after all these years by being unpredictable. Sometimes you have to do things that they don't always seem right or don't always seem like the norm to do to get your message across and to keep your team fresh.
2:40 away from that Verizon intermission report are we, as Brodziak gets the line at center. His lead out of the reach of Staubitz, the former San Jose Shark. Joe Thornton angles in quickly. Heatley with Valine joining right to the gut of Backstrom, who will squeeze it.
Quick transition in the neutral zone as Thornton and Heatley out there. Clough getting an opportunity to flank them on the left side. Puck is going to be pushed up as the D-man steps up, pushes it here. Touch pass over to Thornton, and then watch this little play to Valine. He reads it. He sniffs it out because the Wild were gapped a bit in the neutral zone. He comes right up the gut, sniffs it out, gets the quick shot off.
Valine scored against Anaheim on Saturday, his first goal as a Shark. He must have enjoyed the taste of it because he was hungry for one there. Cullen around the boards. Clutterbuck arm in arm with Valine. Valine is strong as an ox. This is a very big San Jose squad. Marlowe with good speed to the corner, shouldering Schultz. Marlowe still with it. His pass just out of the grasp of Marc-Edouard Vlasic. 2 minutes to go in period 2. 1-0 Minnesota. Andrew Brunette on a 2-man advantage for the Wild. Havlat through center. Brunette feeds it for Koivu. Darting into the offensive territory. Mikko Koivu on a stuff attempt. Forced away by Boyle. Koivu able to stick handle so far away from his body. Havlat works the cycle. Boyle and Koivu ruggedly to the wall. 4 in the scrum. 90 seconds in the period. Heatley marching through center. Works wide, then gave it up. Zhidlitsky to Havlat, 2 natives of the Czech Republic. And then Brunette will just putter it in.
Well, now, since Havlat and Brunette were able to connect on that 5-on-3 power play, Todd Richards has Havlat out there with the top line. So mixing things up a little bit here late in the second period.
Schultz to the rescue for Minnesota. Down the wing comes Wellman. AC Wellman's wrister spoiled by Huskins into that end zone safety netting for the whistle. Friends, Comcast has you covered when it comes to the NHL with NHL Network, NHL On Demand, NHL Center Ice, and of course Versus. Comcast gives you access 24/7 to NHL action no matter where you live. All from Comcast, the home of the most live sports. Glad to be with you tonight in St. Paul. First of 4 between these two. They won't meet again until the tail end of December. Minnesota doesn't visit San Jose till late January. Sharks working the cycle. McGinn to the goal mouth and right on by. Demers pokes it into the corner. Setaguchi. Stick check by John Madden. 3-time Stanley Cup winner. Couple in Jersey, one last year with Chicago. Kovacic chasing along with Huskins. Mitamaki sends it on around. Billy, one of the areas of concern for you to watch throughout the day was the transition from defense to offense. Which teams had the better of it so far tonight?
Perhaps a little bit San Jose to their forwards, but actually neither team really has been really efficient at it. You know, Minnesota's doing a lot of getting the puck and just getting it out, not a lot of tape-to-tape passes.
It hasn't been a flow game.
No.
Clutterbuck poke check by Vlasic as the second period comes to its end. Folks, on the other side of the breaks, it'll be Verizon intermission report time. They'll check in on the Buffalo's scratching of Craig Rivet. Bill, Keith, Brian, and Dave at Hockey Central after these words.
Capital One Hockey Night on Versus is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Verizon. Get more hockey than ever before with the NHL Game Center Live app. Text NHL to 8603 for over 1,000 live games, real-time stats, video profiles, and more. Only from Verizon, the official wireless partner of the NHL.
They love their hockey in Minnesota. Inside XL Energy Center, you see all the jerseys for the high school teams, the college squads. And in the NHL tonight, Nick Backstrom doing a fine job keeping San Jose off the board. Andrew Brunette, the lone goal scorer for Minnesota, on a 5-on-3 power play back in period 2. So Joe Thornton and his gang have some catching up to do. The Sharks have actually beaten the Wild more in this building than they have at home. All time now, San Jose in its 20th season. An anniversary campaign for them. Minnesota in its 11th year of existence. 10 seasons of play. Off we go in the third. 1-0 for Minnesota here at home in the dark green. Marlowe swings through center. Sends it on around. Heatley boxed up along the boards there by Schultz. Joe Thornton turns to get it. Brett Burns has a step on him. And away comes Nystrom. Down the alleyway for Madden. Wrister right to the glove of Niittymaki, and he'll hold. Bob Harwood has a point of view from one of the dressing rooms.
And we're talking Dave Barr, Wild assistant coach, Joe, who was quick to tell me we've taken a page from the Sharks in terms of trying to right the ship in this game. Pointed to 4 or 5 games ago when San Jose believed in the concept of simplifying in spite of their high-end talent. Didn't get quite as forced in the nature of their offense. Drove pucks to the net, drove bodies to the net. So that was a big part of our turnaround. 2 points about the power play. A, we did the kind of stuff to draw penalties, and B, you saw the relief. You felt it on the bench. You felt it and saw it in the eyes of some of the guys who led to the scoring chance. They believe in themselves again, up a man or even two.
I think it's interesting, Bob, and I thought you raised an eyebrow too. Earlier today we heard that these two teams play a similar game to one another. Both coaches were speaking those words. It's been close to the vest. It's 1-0 for Minnesota on home ice. San Jose has won 4 of its last 5 overall, 3 of its last 4 on the road. Digging in now, 5-on-5 action, early third period.
Well, I think Minnesota would like to play more of the San Jose style way. There is a difference in overall quality of player depth-wise from San Jose to Minnesota.
Rebound there for Mitchell, and Backstrom vacuums that up.
Well, there's simplification from the San Jose side. Getting pucks wide, getting them with speed, and getting them to the net, looking for the rebound opportunity right here. D-man initiating, engaging in the plays, pushing it up is Vlasic, and there goes the middle drive is Torrey Mitchell. And Mitchell is finally feeling well now. He is skating better. He had patella tendon surgery in the offseason immediately after they lost to the Blackhawks in the playoffs, Joe, and he was on crutches for 6 more weeks before spending about 6 weeks in Killington, Vermont, at a special place for rehab. And he finally says, you know, I'm 100%. I had a full training camp. I feel so much better as a player.
He's not playing catch-up with respect to his teammates, and he noticed it last year in practice. He was losing races he never would have lost. He had lost that step. McGinn fires. It's punched aside by Backstrom on a wraparound chance right through the crease where Brodziak will play on back. 2 minutes gone by in period 3. A battle of Finnish-born netminders. Niittymaki for San Jose, Backstrom for Minnesota. There are 7 Finns who 10 goals in the NHL. Jason Demers waiting for it. Both teams in the middle of a shift change, and ow, that looked like it hurt. Right into your living room. Heatley's wrister deflected high and out of play. Nicholas Backstrom, Billy, has been busy and good.
Oh, he had stopped 50 of 53 in his previous 2 games. He's now stopped all 23 in this one. Real strong, you know, good core, strong core, ability to stay upright even when he has to go down into the semi-prone position there. He still keeps his legs upright, his chest was up. Strong core, strong legs, and strong in the net.
No Minnesota Wild netminder has more wins or shutouts than the 32-year-old Backstrom, who is a workhorse. He had 60 appearances last year.
I like his comment in the paper from a day or 2 ago, how he said it feels easier this year for him. I mean, that's not just a wonderful, simple quote that says so many things.
Nystrom with a deflection wide of the goal. Boyle picking it up for San Jose. Sharks working in their defensive zone this year without Rob Blake, and the question was, who would pick up those minutes on the back end for this San Jose squad? Douglas Murray will warm to the challenge of playing more, as will Boyle.
Yeah, but, you know, Douglas Murray, using him as an example, he is playing a little bit more. He's still around 20 minutes a game, but now he's playing more time on the power play, Joe, and that's not his forte. So losing a guy like Rob Blake has kind of thrown him off kilter a bit, because guys perhaps aren't slotted in their optimal spots right now for the Sharks' blue line.
Ooh. Nickel was creamed in the corner there, Billy, by Zhidlitsky as the Wild look to get it out, protecting a 1-goal advantage. Meyers bump sets it. Demers for Meyers, and that'll low bridge the Minnesota bench. It's Capital One Hockey Night on Versus. Monday, 7:30, Shane Doan and the Coyotes will tangle with Jimmy Howard and the Red Wings. Tuesday at 7, the Capitals facing off against the Rangers. Monday and Tuesday nights, hockey lives on Versus. Pavelski and Cullen meet at center ice. Matt Cullen can look into that San Jose goal and see Antero Niedermäki, a goalie against whom he has scored the most goals in his NHL career. A lot of those Carolina and Tampa Bay clashes in the past. Only goal scorer tonight, Andrew Brunette from Havlat and Koivu on a two-man advantage for Minnesota back in period 2. Mikko Koivu with points in 10 of 11 games this season. Niedermäki steers it to the corner for Pavelski. Mitchell taps it. Pavelski moves it. Marc-Edouard Vlasic on the fly for the Sharks. Turning with him, it's Justin Falk. Cam Barker back into the lineup as Pavelski sends it wide. He missed 4 games with a groin muscle injury, so Clayton Stoner is held out as a healthy scratch. Stuff attempt back from the save. Rebound to the corner boards. Pavelski. Bumped by Cullen. Joe Pavelski, good feed. Klo, better save by Backstrom. Vlasic fires, and that's scooped by the Wild netminder.
The spin move by Pavelski is what is going to set this whole play up because it's body control and puck control at the same time in the court. See, he's already looking for his next move. He absorbs the hit and right there, picks the stick of Cullen, and now he's waiting. Little soft pass over to Klo. Klo's quick shot from our Jack Daniels goal cam is going to show you again body positioning and strength in his stature right there of Nicklas Backstrom.
Joe Pavelski so good in the playoffs last year for San Jose. Think about it in the regular season. 21 of his 25 goals were even strength. All 3 of his tallies this fall have come on the power play. 2 teams that have become dependent upon the man advantage units. Heatley brushed it into the corner. Joe Thornton sends it on around for Marleau. Thornton working off the best 2-game point performance in his career. For Boyle to the front. Marleau, and that's gloved by Backstrom.
Second ago, Joe, you talked about Rob Blake not being in the lineup anymore as he retired. You said, who's going to pick up his minutes? Well, who's going to take his captaincy was another question as well that they had in San Jose. And Joe Thornton was named the captain before this season. I talked to him at length about it this morning. He said he was so excited. He used this quote before. He said, there's only 30 of these spots in the entire world, and I'm one of them now. He was a captain in Boston, but now here, he's more confident. He has more of a voice in the room. He says, I feel like I can get up and challenge anybody, unlike in Boston where he was younger, and he probably wouldn't have done that. And for the most part, you know what, Joe, the last few years, he's been the de facto captain here in San Jose. And I talked to a lot of guys about just that. I'll tell you a story in a moment about what he did 2 years ago after a loss to Anaheim.
He was 23 when he first took the captaincy in Boston. Todd Richards, who coaches against his Sharks tonight, bench boss for Minnesota, said he wasn't surprised to see Thornton get the C. As Joe goes, the Sharks go. 14:40 to go regulation. Boyle will switch it up. Huskins looking to play clear. Dan Boyle glides out of his own zone. A long lead too far for Setaguchi. Zan in there to cover for Minnesota. A penalty call coming, and it's against the Sharks. Holding the call.
Yeah, another call in the offensive zone. We've had a bunch of those in this game. Those just absolutely tick off a coach. Zannon's going to grab the puck, and he gets grabbed by Setaguchi. And Setaguchi has struggled.
16, 2 minutes for holding.
Only a goal and assist on the season. Again, I told you earlier in the show, he's moved from second to third line in this game. He gets called for the hole. He's reaching there. Instead of driving and skating, he reaches, you get called.
Top of your screen, you see the numbers for Minnesota's power play tonight. They were 0 for 3 against Chicago last outing. Koivu yields the face-off dot to Cullen. Boy, Joe Thornton's been good there tonight. He's won 11 of 15. Along the wall, it's Matt Cullen losing it to Heatley, and he'll send it all the way down. 27-10. Minnesota has the shot disadvantage. San Jose out shooting them by miles. But now the Wild look for an insurance marker. Havlat streaming in. Havlat ran into the stick check of Huskins. Cullen below the goal line to Havlat. Forced away by Huskins. Nickel is on guard against Jidlitsky, and the Wild will retreat. A send in for Cullen. Drops it back to Havlat. He's got all sorts of room. Fires! Stopped by Niittymaki. Man up Minnesota, another 70 seconds. Sharks have it corralled, and it is Mitchell who'll gun it all the way. The San Jose team's had some issues surrendering third period power play goals. Same can be said for Chicago and New York. Burns gliding in. Brent Burns working wide. On the delay. Points it. Barker, stick save, Niittymaki on the redirect. Valine to clear ahead.
Niittymaki's been good in this game despite facing just 12 shots. He has given up 1 goal, but you got to remember something too. It's a challenge to stay mentally focused and mentally sharp with that few shots.
Got to keep your concentration. Marleau with a rocket! Almost squeezed it through Backstrom.
That rocket had some liftoff there, and it almost had a squeeze by. Nick Backstrom held on for dear life to the puck. Marleau's just going to lock in load time. Puck's on its side, so it's one of those knuckleballs with a fastball velocity. Jack Daniels' goal cam will show you the spill back right there as Nick Backstrom just then goes for a little Sunday relaxation on the couch, showing it, I got it, no problem.
Piece of cake against the all-time leading goals, assist, and point producer in San Jose Sharks history. Marleau technically doesn't have a goal on the road this season. Havlat hits the brakes. Pawns it off for Mikko Koivu. Stuff attempt. Koivu's backhander right through the crease and wide. 10 ticks left in the power play. Burns venturing in from his point position. Spins it to Andrew Brunette. To the front for Koivu. Denied by Niittymaki and Boyle at the post. Havlat turns. Stalked by Mitchell. Setaguchi set free from the sin bin for San Jose. Brunette working between the legs there. And then he was dropped at the top of the crease.
And now he's got a stick in between his skates. Just got rid of it.
That's no fun.
Sometimes some people would say he has a hard enough time skating. I'm just saying some people.
Well, Andrew's one of them. He's good-natured about it. He loves to tease himself about his skating ability or lack thereof.
That wasn't fair to do to him then. Pick a guy like Torrey Mitchell to do that to.
Burns and Heatley combine. Joe Thornton wins it off the boards. Marleau opens up. That was blocked. Good defense by Zanin. Down the dasher board, a feed for Clutterbuck. He was in ahead of the play. It's offside against Minnesota. 1-0 for Minnesota. Antero Niittymaki using all of his protective gear, including his mask on Versus. 1-0 Wild. San Jose netminder Antero Niittymaki just used that mask very well. It's a protective mask and a colorful one.
And it's a great decoration. He was given the nickname Frank by former head coach of the Flyers, Ken Hitchcock, because of Frank Nitti, the gangster from the Al Capone Chicago Prohibition era. And he said, all right, to his guy who paints the mask, he said, let's do something different. The guy came up with 2 nasty, gnarly-looking sharks, one of them with a cigar in his mouth. I don't know if that is recommended for underwater, if that works well or not, with a machine gun and with some other things. It's very, very clever mask that Niittymaki put together this year.
Even the shark looks better than me with a fedora. I can't pull that look off. As this one pinballs to the front, Kovastu on it for Minnesota. Floats it into space now with 11:25 left in regulation time. Low-scoring game in St. Paul. 1-0 for the Wild. Andrew Brunette on a 5-on-3 power play goal back in the second. Schultz stacking things up at the attacking blue line for San Jose. Vlasic will turn. Boyle is next, returning it for Marc-Edouard Vlasic, who sizzles one in from center. Pavelski finds it at his tape. Nice sliding defensive play by Burns. So many of the Wild this evening going all out to protect their netminder Nicklas Backstrom. This one rolls to the doorstep, poked away by Vlasic. Madden wins the board battle with Klo. Switching it up, back behind the cage. You see Vlasic creamed along the boards. Nystrom supplying the hit. Vlasic again. Front and center in your picture.
That's a nice play by Cal Clutterbuck, intentionally using the side of the net to snooker the puck back to the front. An indirect pass.
Hockey can be a game of billiards. Pavelski, interchange, Setaguchi. Sprints below the goal line, kept away by Clutterbuck. Setaguchi's speed looking for Demers, who is cheating in from the point position. It'll get away, and San Jose will have to backtrack halfway through this third period. Sharks next up for them. a trip to see the St. Louis Blues. That team's been just terrific in the fall. Mitchell, full blast into the offensive zone. Backhands one, stopped by Backstrom. Mitchell has his own rebound. McGinn fires, cuffed down by Backstrom. Logan Couture and Jamie McGinn.
This has been their best line tonight for San Jose.
Brodziak getting help from Havlat, but it's not clear just yet. As Cullen hot-foots it into the offensive zone. Matt Cullen's relay for Havlat got tangled up in his skates. Brodziak serves it. Sanin switching the point of attack. Barker bombs it right to the chest of Niittymaki. 1-0 Minnesota. Back to St. Paul after these words.
I'm Bill Patrick, ahead on Hockey Central presented by Bud Light. 3 other games on the NHL schedule tonight. We'll get you caught up on all the scores and highlights, plus our top plays of the week. You do not want to miss that. Join me, Keith Jones, Brian Engblom, and Dave Maloney immediately following the game. Joe?
Bill, great to have Dave in studio tonight back at Hockey Central, a veteran of got to be over 600 NHL games, most of those with the New York Rangers. If I'm not mistaken, I think he finished up with Buffalo at the very, very end.
Young captain with the Rangers, too.
Talking about those games that are going on around the NHL. 3 other ones, Vancouver and Edmonton. The Canucks starting a stretch where they play 7 of the next 8 on the road. Tangling with that very exciting Edmonton squad featuring all those young guns. 1-0 in St. Paul. Joe Thornton sends it in. Oh, Schultz takes him down. Power play San Jose. And Thornton down in a heap and writhing in pain.
I mean, no way to stop that. That mass takes him right. I mean, that inertia takes him right into the boards there. He's saying he's fine, but that was a scary spot to go down. There's the trip, the hack from Schultz trying to get at the puck. Instead, he gets all skate blade. Left skate goes down.
55, minor penalty, tripping.
All impact. No protection right there as Joe Thornton is going to kiss the boards, and that is not the kind of kiss you want to have there.
Always a temptation for a coach to put those big 3 together. Remember last year, they went the first 2 months of the regular season without being united.
Yeah, and it's by design, you know, and Todd McClellan told us they'll be separated again, but I like what he's done there. Obviously, Thornton was hurt, but the Couture line has been real good for him. He's got him out there to start this power play.
You made that point a couple times this evening. Let's see how they fare. It's Ryan Clough at the half wall. Clough fires, stopped by Backstrom. He keeps it moving for Zanin. High on the glass, Boyle takes a knee to keep it in, and then he's in a jousting duel with Mikko Koivu as Brodziak peppers it all the way. 1-0 Minnesota with 8:45 to go in the third. Critical power play now for the San Jose Sharks. Demers gets the attacking line, chip and chase to himself. Burns beats him to it. Brent Burns stacked up by Logan Couture and Ryan Clough. Burns wins the battle and sends it on down. This one dribbles right to the doorstep. Niittymaki bunts it off to the corner. Clutterbuck trying to play some keep away now.
Good examples, though, of what McClellan said earlier, forcing the play right there by the San Jose Sharks.
Marlowe, Heatley, Thornton across the top for San Jose. Still a man to the good for 1 minute. Niittymaki begging for Demers to come back and fetch as Demers is late in his line shift. It'll be Boyle to swing. Dan Boyle for San Jose. Pavelski, the U.S. Olympian, has some room. Then he fanned on it. Pavelski walks around Falk. Pavelski deals. Thornton with all the patience. Flushed out by Falk. To the corner boards. It's Heatley arm in arm. Then Marlowe swings the net. Patrick Marlowe holds. Finds Thornton in his office. Joe Thornton the feed. Boyle the fire. It's blocked. And a penalty comes up here. Madden doing the job defensively.
The whole Wild team here has been doing the job with some real good desperation. Blocking shots, but winning battles along the wall. Going to be called a trip.
22, 2 minutes for tripping.
On Dan Boyle. Could have been called a trip. Could have been called an interference. Well, Rod's right there. John Madden's already expecting it, and then there's the leg that comes out. There's no question about it. An intentional left leg extended by Boyle because I think he felt if he didn't do that, that Madden could have been off to the races. I don't think he realized Madden probably would have gone perhaps for a change, but regardless, the Minnesota Wild with real good, smart hockey here. Up the goal. Again, only 14 shots on net in this one, but winning a lot of little battles in the third period.
San Jose Sharks, a mark of 5-3-1. Remember, they were best in the West last year during the regular season. 1 point better than the eventual Stanley Cup champion Blackhawks. Mitchell explodes into the offensive zone, stopped by Backstrom. 4-on-4 hockey will come to an end right now. Minnesota goes to an abbreviated power play. Schultz sprints from the box over to the bench. Marek Zhidlitsky waits to set sail. Deliberately out of his own zone, control break out for Koivu. Now Havlat. Martin Havlat scoops it into the cross corner. McCarthy is there and a good outlet. It's Logan Couture, 1 against 2. Couture fires a stick save. Went after his own rebound. Backstrom tried to bat it away. Havlat snaking his way through center with Mikko Koivu. Koivu finesse to the interior, drops it back to the point, nobody home. Here comes Marleau with all that speed. He hooks off, picks up Demers through center. Jason Demers hesitates. Good look, Pavelski. That's blocked, this time by Cullen. Joe Pavelski lost it on a stick check from Cullen. 6:10 to go in regulation time. Minnesota here at home with a 1-0 lead. Havlat forced to the boards. Huskin ties up his man. Marleau makes the play. It squirts loose to Koivu. Then Burns deflected over top of the goal. Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Koivu greets him along the dasher. Marleau trying to fidget it loose. Sharks do get it out. They'll get Boyle back in 15 seconds. Burns to the interior for Nystrom. Eric Nystrom hooks off. Drops it along the dasher. Madden returns it to Burns. Changing the point of attack. Knocked out of the air by Joe Thornton. That'll do it for Minnesota's power play. Madden content to get it deep with 5.5 to go. Good forecheck. Madden putting some pressure on. Douglas Murray feels the sting from Cal Clutterbuck. Marc-Edouard Vlasic to Devin Setaguchi. Setaguchi freewheels down the boards. Looks for the late guy. Delivers it below the goal line to Heatley. Measured there by Falk. Danny Heatley in tight quarters, chips it loose. Joe Thornton, tracked down by Brodziak. Minnesota doing an excellent job defensively.
I really like the game that number 41, Falk, has played. The youngster has been very responsible, very solid. Icing called here against the Wild. Puck comes back into their own zone. Earlier on the power play, an opportunity to make it 2-0. As the Wild try to get this power play going. Well, again, one of the tops in the NHL. Weak side guy is Burns. Can't get it through to the net. Niedermaki comes out aggressively to challenge. Actually slid way out of the crease area there, but the puck got deflected over the glass. But just getting back to Falk, boy, he has shown some good composure for a young kid.
Good size, 6'5", 220 on the blue line for Minnesota. An NHL rookie, Justin Falk. Demers skips that one past Klo. Keeps it alive in the attack territory for Torrey Mitchell. Klo and Pavelski in a 4-man struggle. Even in full strength now, 5-on-5 down the stretch. Pavelski looking to create. Saucers one back door. Demers again was sneaking in. He's got good offensive instincts. Boyle connects with Pavelski. He'll drop it into the corner. Torrey Mitchell like a guided missile in there on the forecheck. Burns sent it on around. Havlat for Brodziak, and the Wild are away. This one dribbles towards Niedermaki. He sweeps it into the corner. Less than 4 to go in this third period. Andrew Burnett, the only goal, came on a power play back in the second period. Minnesota enjoyed a 5-on-3 and man advantage. McGinn darting down the boards. Dodging the hit of Burns. McGinn fires. It's gloved by Backstrom. He'll hang on. We will also hang out. McGinn and Burns staring daggers at each other.
Capital One Hockey Night on Versus is brought to you by Geico, proud sponsor of the NHL.
Herb Brooks might like a game like this. Well played, especially in the defensive zone. Former coach of the U.S. Olympic team in 1980. Our Bud Light impact player tonight, netminder Nicholas Backstrom.
He's been fantastic again. He's had to make some 3 or 4 really nice saves, you know, but he's also had some good line of sight here. He's been very busy facing all these 34 shots, but he's a composed goaltender. You know, he doesn't flop around an awful lot. You don't find him doing a lot of swimming out there, and so he makes things look easy.
On a deflection try, that was Boyle with a redirect on a set play. A good save for Backstrom. Nick Schultz keeping an eye on Marlowe. Schultz using the net for some protection. Joe Thornton roughed up by Brent Burns. Boyle, the rover now along the goal line. Just over 3 minutes to go in period 3. It's 1-0 for Minnesota. Capital One Hockey Night on Versus. Burns did not clear. Schultz on patrol in front. Nystrom fans. Second effort will get it out. On a lead for Madden down the wing. Madden no angle to shoot. Tries it anyway. Niedermacky was hugging the post. Through center comes Heatley. Heatley steers it for Clough. He pulls the trigger. That's blocked off the boot of Cam Barker.
Pretty good bench management throughout this entire game by Todd Richards and Rick Wilson, who runs the defense now for the Wild. They've had Burns and Schultz out there a lot.
Pavelski, sharp angle, pad save, Backstrom.
They've been out there a lot against that Thornton line. That was one of our matchups to look for, and they've done a nice job.
Mikko Koivu opens up a 2-on-2. Koivu, neat little move there on Demers. Right to the front, and Niedermacky went paddle down to beat him. 2:15 left. We'll keep our eyes peeled on Niedermacky. See when Todd McClellan will lift him for the extra attacker. Clough maneuvering down the wing. Not going to get through Zanin. Koivu the other way. Long blast right to his good buddy Niedermacky. The rebound trickles wide. Setaguchi sprints down the wing. Schultz keeping an eye on him. Switch it up for Douglas Murray. Poke check by Burns.
Another good play by Burns, closing the gap on the man on the far side and pushing the puck out.
Cullen trying to waltz his way through the defense. Mitchell turned back by Kovacic. McGinn at the line put himself offside. The whistle comes against San Jose. And the Sharks came in with all that momentum of their top line that's been quieted tonight.
They have. They've all gotten their ice time. You know, with minute 36 remaining here, they could be out there. So they've all pushed close to 20. No points and just a few shots. You got to remember something. Thornton had those 2 shots on goal in the first period, so he's been shut out in the second and third. Heatley has really not done a lot out there. Now, Joe Thornton has been very good on faceoffs. He's been very, very good, winning about 80% of his draws in this game.
Backstrom hands this one off. Hockey Central presented by Bud Light to follow us. Perhaps a live look in Vancouver and Edmonton tonight. Highlights of all the games this evening, including ours in St. Paul. A 1-0 lead. As the netminder, Niedermacky, is on the bench. 6 attackers on in white for San Jose. Demers with 70 seconds to go in regulation. Pavelski along the boards. On through McGinn. Logan Couture creates for Mitchell. Corey Mitchell pinned to the boards by Falk. Pavelski deking out of the corner. Demers looking for Boyle. That one leapfrogged his blade. Wild able to get it out.
Now there's going to be an interference call now on Demers as he took down Clutterbuck.
That's a double whammy this late in regulation against San Jose.
The puck rimmed around, skipped by Demers at the right point, and darting for it was Cal Clutterbuck.
San Jose number 60, 2 minutes for interference.
Just that sheer second effort is what's going to lead to this. There's the puck being rimmed around, and then Demers, right there, he just jumps at, puts his body in front of Clutterbuck. He feels like he has to take that penalty there for fear that Clutterbuck would get to the puck cleanly. I'm not sure if he would or not. Regardless, Clutterbuck doing his job, creating that, and now San Jose takes their timeout. Remember, earlier in the game, before the 5-on-3 goal was scored, Todd Richards took it for the Wild, so they've already utilized their one timeout, but this really helps him here. He gets to get all of his guys well rested that he wants out there.
San Jose has not lost in regulation to Minnesota in a long time. Go back to October of 2006. They haven't lost here at XL Energy Center since October of 05.
Yeah, 4-0.
Both of those streaks on the line now.
Yeah, last year 4-0 against the Wild overall for the Sharks. Dominated them, and the big guys combined for 13 points in that time as well in those 4 games. But tonight, it's been about 1 goal. That's all it is. First goal wins, right? What it seems like, unless 45 seconds, 45.1 to be exact, something else changed. But the ingredients to success for this game have been Nicklas Backstrom and just hold on here in the third period.
Brunette was the man who staked Minnesota to the lead. Backstrom is the man who has secured it since, trying to record something special for himself that he hasn't done in this building in a while. Thornton wins the draw. He's done that all evening long. 40 seconds to go in regulation. Niittymaki is sprinting to the bench right now. At the line waiting. Wrist shot on the way, deflected on through. Heatley, Thornton, Marleau out there for the Sharks. Joe Thornton to swing. The netminder pull makes it 5-on-5. Koivu guns it on around for Barker. 17 ticks left. Heatley steers it. Boyle on the perimeter for Thornton. Pavelski sprints to it with 8 seconds to go. Pavelski trying to get topside wrister that's blocked. Mikko Koivu uses the boards to send it on down. And the Minnesota Wild whitewash the San Jose Sharks by the final count of 1-0. For Billy, for Bob, for all the men and women in our crew, Joe Beninati, thanks for your time. Celebration here at St. Paul as we get you to Hockey Central. It's Bill Patrick, who'll soon be joined by Keith, Brian, and Dave. A good one goes the Wild way.